Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor. Welcome to Monday Mastery, an intuitive energy reading. I give you my take on how we experienced this past week, what we're experiencing today, and some guidance on how to move forward. Last week was not so bad. We had a lull in the solar activity, which was nice, relatively speaking, as compared to the week prior, where we had multiple X-class solar flares and numerous M-class solar flares. This week was much, much quieter. We did have two minor geostorms, if you will. We had a KP6 yesterday, which is it's getting up there, but it wasn't anything too difficult. It didn't really hit the body too hard. And then we did last Monday after I posted the reading, we had a small minor KP4. So no big deal. We have a little bit of a Schumann resonance spike a couple times this week, but we're staying in that 7 to 14 hertz range. So not getting anything too crazy there either, which was really nice. We had an awesome leap day. It really felt like we were taking quantum leaps on leap day. And so that was a super fun experience, as well as it's now March, which I'm really, really excited about. If you've been following me for a long time, you know that I have been receiving the message in the spring for close to 2 years now. And I last year thought it was spring last year, but I now have come to understand this is the spring that they were referring to. So exciting to see what's coming. We have eclipse season upon us. March 25th and April 8th are the two eclipses. We'll talk about that later as we get closer. But for now, we are in the waning crescent moon. I'm reviewing my notes, my sticky notes up on the screen here. If you're wondering where I'm looking, we are in the waning moon as we approach the Pisces new moon on March 10th. So you may have noticed that things just feel a little bit softer, a little bit easier. It's kind of a winding down type feeling. And if you think about, the peak of the light and the light disappearing and dissipating, and think of light as energy, right? So with the full moon, we are on. That moon kept me up for close to a week straight. It was so bright, so big in my window, but also so energetic. And now with a waning crescent moon, you can kind of feel the dissipation of the energy. It's more of a calming, resting kind of feel. So some people will get frustrated and feel like things are moving slowly, or I'm depressed, or I'm fatigued. And we really want to start to work with the cycles of the moon to recognize we're just being called to rest right now. We're being called to surrender, recuperation, healing, letting go, and preparation for the new phase, new moon, new cycle, new phase. So big things are coming with the eclipses, and we want to be prepared and have our energy and our wits about us. And that does not mean anything about your phase in life or your place in life. Although if you have felt stuck for an extended period of time, something like a new moon can feel a little bit more frustrating because it can feel like more stuckness. I had to pause for a sneeze there. I'm back. Didn't want to sneeze on you. Last week, there was a little bit of an up and down kind of feeling. We had all four seasons in a matter of 2 days here. We had a 70-degree day in February, which is highly unlikely, highly unusual. And then the next day, we were down into the 30s and it snowed. And then within another 24 hours, we were back up in the 50s. And so it kind of felt like the energy was kind of doing that too, where we're getting a little bit of everything, but not in a very difficult way. It was relatively soft and easy to make those transitions. I felt more clarity coming in, more guidance, more reassurance. You're on the right path. You're doing the right thing. Keep going. Never give up. Once you get that clarity that you're on the right path, just know that you're definitely going to be supported as long as you're on the right path. It's still not moving quickly. I have a feeling that we'll be moving plenty quickly when the eclipses hit and things are in full swing as to the new transition. As we all know, we are in an election year here in the United States, so things tend to get a little bit hairy. So I am enjoying this waning crescent moon of moments of rest and recuperation and preparation for the next phase, trusting that plenty of speed will be available in no time at all. There's definitely a strong feeling of a lot of hope coming through, a lot of encouragement, again, reassurance, promise of better days just around the corner. I've said that quite a few times over the last year or so. And it was interesting because as I wrote that note, it said a promise of better days to come just around the corner for those of us who are on the path, those of us who have been doing the inner work, those of us who've healed our traumas, and we are working towards or very close to feeling that wholeness and that completeness and that need for external anything is fading away. For those of us who are on the awakening or the ascension journey and just feeling the oneness with the divine, it's going to be so much easier for us. And there's more clarity, more expansion, more elevation, more insight, more intuition, more messages. The communication feels stronger. It just feels more, maybe you could say even clearer or louder, not necessarily louder, but just absolute certainty. If I ask a question, the guidance is there very, very quickly. Even if there was a test that came through this last week, move through that test really, really quickly. And again, I recognize that this message is only going to resonate for those who are in a similar place or maybe just a few steps behind me. There's so many different places that you could be in life right now. If you completely have your head in the sand and you're not doing the work and you're avoiding what you're being called to do, this definitely is not going to be where you're at. So know that if you are following the journey, following the channel, following the teachings on your own journey, doing as the divine is asking you to do and working towards healing, removing those blocks, becoming sufficient or solely reliant on the divine, then likely you can trust that the things I am offering are just around the corner for you as well. Yes, I had a beautiful friend, Melissa, if you see this, comment below. How can people find you? She is an amazing intuitive person. Clearly, third eye is just blowing up and expanding lately. She received a vision in her meditation this morning of, and I won't go into all the details, it's her personal experience, but of the new earth being birthed. And I really resonated with that. I have said for many years now that, my purpose is your purpose, and my mission to help you step into your purpose is because we together collectively are manifesting and creating the new earth. And so her sentiment was that we are birthing the new earth. And it is absolutely, I know this to be true. I have felt it myself, and I feel the resonance of truth in my body that we are in those birthing pains now. And if things seem difficult, if you find yourself asking the question, why is the world falling apart? What is happening? We are definitely in the throes of the birthing pains. The gestational period is over, and we have to now bring this to life. And if anyone knows, if you've ever had a child, those last moments are the most difficult. And we are the ones. If you are on the path, if you are committed to the divine, if you are working on healing yourself and letting go of the ego and letting go of attachment and surrendering to the divine, you absolutely are one of us who are helping to birth a new earth. And the very clear guidance is it does not have to be painful. It doesn't have to equal childbirth relative to the pain. And yeah, it can be uncomfortable because I don't know what's coming next, and there's uncertainty, and I have to fully surrender all of my desires, and I have to fully become solely source led. And yes, that's uncomfortable. But when you get used to it and you start living it day in and day out, it's a piece of cake. It could not be easier. It is far easier than it is trying to do it all on my own. Right. So there is contentment in the oneness with the divine, and contentment in being in the path and being cared for, being guided, being supported. It's beautiful. I almost feel like I'm playing with my best friend now when I'm communicating with the divine and just asking, where are we going next? What's the next post? What's the next video? Right? What's the next message? What's the next note on my note card? Are we going right? Are we going left? Are we having potatoes or fruit for dinner? Like every single moment is connection, and asking for deeper connection, asking for staying connected always. And I even had the thought yesterday, well, how can I move through life and be engaging with people and be grounded in the 3D realm where we chose to incarnate because we have purpose here? How can I be that person and also still be connected? And the message was, that's why you have the ability to have two trains of thought, right? If you've ever been thinking about what you want for lunch while you have a conversation with someone, that's that ability. So really working towards that. Everything we need is in the connection with the divine. Every single thing. It is truly amazing and beautiful. And when I wrote that, the next question or the next message to deliver was, ask and ye shall receive. And that took on a new meaning for me when I heard that this time, because we think, oh, yes, I will ask for the money, or I will ask for the house, or I will ask for the loved one, or I'll ask for the health. But really, if you ask, you will receive. And that guidance was around questioning, right? Communication with the divine. Everything I need is in our connection. So if I want to know how to best see how do I see myself in the, how do I see myself the way you see me? Right. And I have a beautiful message coming this week. So keep an eye out. If you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, hop over there and do that now. Vibe Mentor, if you're on Facebook, otherwise you're already here on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe below and turn on that bell notification. But there was a beautiful message that came through around how do we see ourselves? And so when I asked that question, the divine replied, see yourself the way I see you, right? And religion wants to tell us we're broken and sinful, shame. Interesting. We're going to start that one over. The religion wants to tell us we are broken, shameful sinners, and the world wants to tell us we're not enough, right? If you don't buy the products, you're not enough. But if we have intimacy with the divine, we can ask questions like, how do you want me to see myself? And the response I received was, you are my most favored creation. You are precious, greater than gold. So that is the new perspective that we get to adopt, is to see ourselves, even if we're not already in our highest self yet, we get to see ourselves the way the divine does. There's not a single need that cannot be met. It's like having the ultimate Google. You can ask any question and you will receive answers, right? He's willing to let us, he, she, it, they, them, right? The divine source, creator, God, universe is willing to let us take up as much space as we want. We have free will. We can completely forego our divine connection. We can meditate 5 minutes a day and go on about our day and completely fill up the rest of the bandwidth. That's fine. We have that free will choice, but it is so much better when we get out of the way. It is so much better when we fully surrender. We give up control. We give up the reins to life, and we let God move through us, right? This is the only way that we'll really be able to accomplish birthing the new earth, right? And so many of us worry, well, will my needs be met? Or will God let me suffer? Or will this be a difficult path? And you have to remember the phrase, it is the peace that passes all understanding, which means you will have peace that does not make sense. You'll have the ability to stand in the eye of the storm as the old world crumbles around you, and be unscathed, untouched, unaffected, right? So it is our control and our resistance to the divine path, to the support that is available to us, that causes our pain and our suffering. God is not causing you to suffer. It's the things that we cling to, or the things that we resist, or the things we refuse to do that we're called to, that causes our suffering. There's another phrase that says the burden is easy and light, right? That means it's so much easier for us to be in the divine path and following the divine will than it is for us to have to figure it out, make it all happen, do it all on our own. We're not made to do this alone. We are made to do this with our creator, right? When you become fully source-led to the point of asking, do we turn left or do we turn right? That's when the magic happens. If you're anything like me and you're in a business and you got a to-do list, the ego mind says, I have to do all of these things. It's so long. I never have enough time or energy to accomplish it. I will be exhausted and burnt out and frustrated and hardly achieve the things I know I'm capable of. But then the opposite is giving it all up, sitting down, closing my eyes, quieting my heart, being in stillness, and just asking that question, what do you want me to do right now? And somehow, magically, what comes through will accomplish way more than that to-do list ever could have. That is the magic that lives within us through our connection with our creator. Right? So it's not always going to be the thing you want to do. I'm going to do a video on this coming soon as well. I have personally also believed that our passions and our desires and our purpose will feel good. And that can be true in some cases. We'll have a yearning, we'll have a desire, right? I wanted to start my own business. I had that yearning, but I didn't want to do sales. I didn't want to do marketing. I didn't want to create the video that I'm posting this week, but I was called to. And I already wrote that post and posted it on Facebook. So it's out there if you want to go check it out. It just really talks about where do we belong and being in between worlds, the metaphysical world and a Christian world, and how we see ourselves and how do we marry all of these different factors that are coming together. And that was a scary thing for me. I did not want to do that. If I had only followed what felt good, I would have done it. And yet that creation, whether you call it a post or a video, it's everything. It's everywhere. I'm trying to put it everywhere. YouTube will be the last place this week. It has brought more people to me who are like me and who need what I have to offer. And again, I would have done it if I didn't feel called to. So we really want to start to understand that it's not always going to be what we want to do, but when we do the thing that we are called to, you will be very pleasantly surprised. Not to mention also healed, right? Because these things live in us and they create shame because we hide them and we don't bring them out into the light of day, right? So we get frustrated when we are doing things on our own, when we're trying to do it all by ourselves. And we want to remember, we just get to get out of the way and receive. We get to be the conduit, and we don't have to do the mile-long to-do list. We just get to do the one or two things the divine says, this is it. And then he, she, it, they, then he, she, it, then they, oh my gosh, today, language. Did you know speaking is not my first language? Anyways, credit to whoever said that. I can't remember your name, but it was amazing. Anyways, we're not supposed to do it alone. It's more difficult. That's why we get frustrated. That's why we feel fatigued and tired. Also, another phrase, not by my might or by my power, but by the Spirit, which means no amount of effort that you put in is ever going to be able to truly get you to where your heart and your soul desire to be. It is only through connection with the divine. And finally, through Christ, I can do all things. Bring in that Christ energy, work with Yeshua, lighten the load, give it up to the divine. Let Christ and Source work through you. All right. I love you, my friends. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. If there's anybody who would benefit from this, help spread the word. We are awakening humanity's potential. Life Purpose Academy ideas dropping this week. So more to come. Stay tuned on that. I love you, my friends, and I will see you on the next one. Namaste.